Hello students, welcome to Surface Chemistry part 5. So in this part we people are going to study some important features of solid catalysts and then shape selective catalysis and at the end enzyme catalysis. Let us start with the important features of solid catalysts. In that, the first one is activity. Students, activity is the ability of the catalyst to accelerate the rate of a chemical reaction. It is found that in some cases, catalyst can accelerate the reaction to an extent of 10 to the power 10 times. For example, the reaction between hydrogen and oxygen in the presence of a platinum catalyst, 2,4 water is going to be very explosive in nature. So what is activity? It is ability of the catalyst to accelerate the rate of a chemical reaction. And as I told, some cases catalyst can accelerate reaction to the extent of 10 to the power 10. The example is reaction between hydrogen and oxygen to form water in the presence of platinum catalyst takes place with explosive violence. Students, in your periodic table, the elements present from group 5 to 11 are metals, nothing but transition metals, and they found to have maximum activity. That means ability to accelerate rate of a chemical reaction, particularly from group 7 to 9. So in general, we can say that transition elements, as you already studied, they have very high ability to accelerate of rate of a chemical reaction and thereby act as a catalyst. The second term that we are going to study is selectivity. See, selectivity means it is ability of the catalyst to direct to give particular product. Okay, it is ability of the catalyst to direct a reaction to give particular product. So let us understand this with an example. Let us take ethane molecule, students. So in the presence of platinum as a catalyst, it undergoes reduction, nothing but hydrogenation, nothing but addition of hydrogen completely, and thereby forms ethane as the final product. Whereas same reaction, same hydrogenation, but other catalyst, that is a palladium catalyst, that is also called as a Lindlar's catalyst. So in Lindlar's catalyst, palladium is partially deactivated or inactivated by quinoline. So now same reactant molecule, same hydrogenation process, same reduction, only catalyst is different, we are going to get ethene as the product. So here platinum directs reactant to give ethane as the product, where palladium directs reactant to give ethene as the product. So that ability itself is called as selectivity. I hope that you understood, students. Now let us see very important concept, shape selective catalysis by zeolites. Students, as the name itself indicates, shape selective catalysis is a process in which the catalytic property depends upon the pore structure of the catalyst or pore size of the catalyst and size of the reactant and product molecules. Is that clear? So let us see with an example. See, these are the zeolites. They have three-dimensional network-like structure, cage-like structure with pores with the particular size. Okay. Now, reactant molecules, those which match or smaller than this pore size, can only enter and they can react and they can come out as the product. Whereas other reactant molecules are not able to enter in it. So what is shape selective catalysis, students? The catalytic action that depends on the pore structure of the catalyst and the size of the reactant and product molecules is known as shape selective catalysis. So examples, as we written already, zeolites, which have three-dimensional network structure, which are nothing but aluminosilicates. With this is the general formula, Mx bar n square bracket, it is aluminum dioxide, X number of molecules, silicon dioxide, Y number of molecules with m number of water molecules present. See, in this formula, N indicates the valency of the metal cation, and M indicates it is a metal like sodium, potassium, calcium, okay, and M indicates number of molecules of water of crystallization. Students, only pores can trap only those molecules whose size is small enough to enter or leave the cavities. Bigger or larger molecules they cannot enter into the cavities. Thus, zeolites can act as molecular sieves or selective adsorbents. And these zeolites are generally used as a catalyst in petrochemical industries for isomerization and cracking of hydrocarbons. Here, cracking of hydrocarbons indicates converting long chain hydrocarbons to short chain hydrocarbons. The example for this process is ZSM5 that converts alcohol to gasoline. And the formula of this ZSM5 is found to be like this: X number of H molecules, square bracket, aluminum dioxide, X number of molecules, silicon dioxide, 96 minus X number of molecules, and 16 water molecules. Now let us see, students, the concept of enzyme catalysis. As you know already, enzymes are nitrogenous substances, very complex in nature. Actually, they are nothing but proteins with very high molecular mass, and they are present in living bodies or living things, and they catalyze many biochemical reactions. So what are enzymes, students? Enzymes are complex nitrogenous compounds. Actually, they are nothing but protein molecules with very high molecular mass. They present in living organisms and they catalyze many biochemical reactions. The simplest example that you know is nitrogenase, that is present in noodles of leguminous plants, roots. And what this nitrogenase does, students? So it is going to fix the nitrogen present in the atmosphere and helps in converting that nitrogen to ammonia. So here you can see the leguminous plant, root and noodles. So in that noodles, nitrogenase is an enzyme present, and that is helping fixing the nitrogen from the atmosphere and helps in converting that nitrogen to ammonia. So in human body, students, there is an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase that helps in the reaction between carbon dioxide and water. It converts this carbon dioxide and water to H plus and HCO3 minus ion. So these two ions, H plus and HCO3 minus ions, are helpful in maintaining the pH of the blood. Similarly, the hydrolysis of sucrose to form glucose and fructose is catalyzed by an enzyme called invertase, and once this glucose is formed, that is converted to ethyl alcohol. The decomposition of ammonia, students, the decomposition of urea to ammonia, students, is carried out in the presence of an enzyme called urease. Here urea is converted to ammonia and carbon dioxide. In stomach, there is an enzyme called pepsin that converts proteins into polypeptides, while in intestine there is an enzyme called trypsin that converts proteins into amino acids by hydrolysis. Here you can see pepsin that converts proteins into peptides. Here we have pepsin in stomach, and somewhere here we are going to get the trypsin that converts proteins into amino acids. And in milk, students, there is an enzyme, you know, lactobacilli, okay, that converts milk to curd. So this is a lactobacilli. Now let us see the mechanism of enzyme activity. Students, enzymes contains a large number of cavities with the characteristic shape and groups such as NH2 amine group, carboxylic group, thiol group, SH and alcohol group. Okay, so enzymes contain what? Cavities with the characteristic shape and functional groups like amine, carboxylic acid, thiol, alcohol, etc. The molecules of the reactant which fit to the shape and size of the cavity, only those molecules get adsorbed, and it works just like a key and lock model. And once that reactant molecule adsorbed into that cavity, there will be formation of one complex, and once that complex is formed, that decomposes to form the product and enzyme. So let us see that one with the help of the diagram. So the first step involves binding the enzyme to the substrate to form activated complex. So here students, we have enzyme and this is substrate. Substrate is going to bind the enzyme and thereby forming activated complex. These two steps are very important, students. They ask for 2 marks. Reactions. So here we can see enzyme substrate complex. So in the second step, what happens? The decomposition of this activated complex to form the products. So it decomposes and thereby formation of the products. Now let us see characteristics of enzyme catalysis. The first one, enzymes are highly efficient in nature. That means enzyme catalyst increases speed of a reaction to the order of 10 to the power 8 to 10 to the power 20 times. So it is very, very high compared to that of uncatalyzed reactions. And as far as quantity is required, enzyme required in very, very small quantities. The extremely small quantity of enzyme is more than enough to carry out the chemical reactions, and they increases to an extent of 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 6, even millionth of the mole. Third one, enzymes are highly specific in nature. They catalyze only particular type of biochemical reactions, students, not all reactions. Hence they are highly specific in nature. The hydrolysis of urea can be done by urease only. That cannot be done by invertase. That cannot be done by zymase, like that. So they are highly specific in nature. Enzymes are active at optimum temperature and pH. Generally, they are active at temperature, body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. The enzyme, suppose what happens when we increase the temperature or we vary the pH? So automatically activity of the enzyme is going to decrease. The optimum temperature is found to be 37 degrees Celsius and optimum pH is found to be nearly 7. So at 37 degrees Celsius and near 7 pH, enzymes are found to have maximum activity. Thank you, students.